Okay, guys, I am home, and I told you that we would talk about the pulse. A little bit of wind, hope it's not affecting my thing. In the truck, I think we're showing like 35 at one point. Right now, I'm standing away from the truck. I'm gonna walk out more towards my backyard, like in the middle of, probably standing in the middle of a half acre at the moment. Okay, so right now I'm seeing the same. There's no power lines overhead. But now let's walk up to the smart meter. You can see what the reading is. Bear with me here. You're gonna watch the numbers here go absolutely nuts. Excuse me, my hair is not one step, so I'm gonna take that down. Okay, walking up to the smart meter now. Ready? Oh, it's actually, there it is. Okay, so that is the smart meter. It's just doing its like every 5-second reset doohickey. Or is it? It's kind of stuck. There it goes. Okay, so that is touching the meter. This is about a foot away from the meter. Okay, now we're gonna check a little bit. Let's go. All right, let's go to my breaker panel. All right, I am at the breaker panel, actually touching the breakers inside the breaker panel, and it's not, yeah, surprisingly, it's not that significant of a difference. Get back in the truck because I was worried earlier about some interference from all the Technic gadgets inside of it. Okay, there must not be because it's 37. But I want to see if, oh wait, it's definitely jumping. Earlier in the last video, it was dropping about 10 points when I touched my phone to my body. So here we go. Wait, let's first look at it here. All right, so we got 38, 39. All right, bringing it. Nope, guess not. Okay, so we're looking at less than a 2-point difference. So maybe I am holding the thing in my phone, but I didn't know if having it any closer to my trunk was any difference. Okay, so that was just the little precursor to that. I guess you could kind of consider myself in a Faraday cage since I'm in a metal box. Most of these new trucks, though, are shells of aluminum, so, you know, I have not gone into how deep and which metals are gonna do the best at shielding. But this video, the point of this video was to explain the pulse. So first I want you to think about your heartbeat. We've got a regular heartbeat. Okay? What happens when that becomes irregular? And yes, I know I'm on the wrong side. Or this is my right. When that becomes irregular, you get arrhythmias, V-tach, all kind of things. Our hearts need to beat in a regular, rhythmical, symmetrical pattern. Okay? So we typically get that now with the 4G and the previous 3G. I mean, there are definitely other harms that we're getting from those. They're just harder to nail down and verify the repercussions of them because they're more of an insidious long-term effect that they have. So once they start using these upper bands that have not been in use at all yet, and these higher frequency levels probably going to average around 80 gigahertz versus the 5 gigahertz that we get out of our wireless routers at home. So with these new strengths and these new upper bands, we're going to be getting very irregular bursts. So these waves will be up short, narrow waves, so they're coming irregularly. Now, our bodies are electrical systems. Whether you want to believe that or not, it is undisputed. It is electrical connections between cells that assist in their communication. It's electrical pulses that make our hearts beat, thus why they do EEGs and why they use the electricity paddles, because it's our bodies use our energy. Our bodies are energy. The earth is energy. We are supposed to be in sync with the earth. We are all connected through energy. So when you disrupt that electrical connection, then you are disrupting the communication throughout your body in a various number of ways. And this is why it will be less insidious of a health attack, basically, than the 4G, 3G, and other stuff. So keep that in mind. My recommendations from here would be, do not get a 5G phone. Just don't. Don't add to the smart grid. Don't add to everybody else's further declining health. Don't let anyone in your household have a 5G phone. Because everyone that does, whenever you're in the path between a 5G antenna with these upper bands and a 5G phone, you're getting hit with it. So these are my recommendations. I know there's going to be the naysayers out there and the people that disagree, and that's fine. This is my understanding of the science and how it works, and the logic of it really fits. I can't, like, my whole level of consciousness is on this. Like, I get it. But it, you know, it was just like with breast implants and everything else. There's always going to be one saying, oh my God, they're so safe. You're such an idiot. You're just such an ignorant moron. Would you get a Google degree? You know, the typical condescending remarks that are given to try and discredit people. But the more you want to know, the more you need to dig. And you've got to use legit scientific terminology to get to the legit scientific studies. And the truth is, no safety studies have been performed other than the little individual ones. No, you know, government mandated, assisted, funded, none of that. So these are, you know, independent scientists, and many of them. There are several other scientists on this explaining the different ways that 5G is going to basically attack us. It permeates the cell wall. And they show, I mean, they demonstrate and they explain so clearly. Even if you don't understand the terminology, if you will just stick with the videos that are in my 5G playlist of scientists explaining the different ways that they affect our health, then it'll start to come together in your mind, even when you don't know what a lot of the terms are. But the more you watch, the more you'll start to understand the terms, and you'll start citing them, and people will be like, huh? So don't give up. Stick with it. Understand it, because the more you know, the more you can control. They have always said knowledge is power, and there is nothing more true. And knowledge not only gives power, it helps eliminate fear. So there are some things we can't do anything about, but we can sure keep studying on figuring out how we can do something about them. For example, the Faraday cage for the phone will terminate all reception around it and terminate any output of frequency to you. So at some point, you know, they used to have mosquito netting over bed. It may wind up being some kind of mesh metal, essentially making some kind of a Faraday cage around your bed, so you can at least let your cells regenerate and do your healing during your deep sleep just prior to REM. That's when the most. I know a lot of people have heard the REM sleep, but actually you don't do as much repair in REM as just before you go into REM. So, guys, remember all these things. Keep questioning everything and buy a meter. See where the worst places are. And, you know, you can't necessarily say, I have a headache, it's the 5G. Because, well, now they've not even rolled out the most extensive part that is going to likely be a grand culprit. And some of these towers that are around us are not even active at all yet. So, and they've made it very difficult to determine, first of all, where these towers are. I've come across the site. I can't remember where it is, and if I can remember, I'll put it down in the comments. But they don't necessarily indicate up to date whether one's active or not. It's nearly impossible to get all the variables or bases covered in this research. But look out for it. And the Internet of Things is not going to be good. Sure, it's going to add a lot of convenience factors in. Guys, think a social credit score. Really, go watch The Circle. Go watch The Circle on Net. Oh, actually, it may be on Amazon Prime. I think it's on Amazon Prime. Tom Hanks is in it. Of course, we know he's not an existing problem anymore. He's gone. But regardless, you need to see what's coming. It's a perfect example of what's in our very near future if we don't make some changes. Or make sure that we keep the current president in office. They have, and I can't remember which company did it, but they did launch a satellite, a 5G satellite, during the peak of COVID, after Trump told them no. He said, no, we need more research. And then COVID hit peak, and his focus was on the nation's health, and they launched that sucker. They launched that sucker into space. So there's a lot of slight-handed stuff going on. Trump does have a way to make 5G or 6G or all the upcomings safe. And Cove Fifi, if you've seen that, that is a reference to cobalt, vanadium, and then 2 elements of iron. And I've got to do my further digging in that one. I've not done it yet. So, I mean, I know what it is, and I know that these 5G signals will rob the hemoglobin in your blood of oxygen. So basically, if you look at everything that the 5G is going to be doing to us, it matches almost to a T what COVID does to our bodies. So I've not ventured out there and made that accusation because people think aliens in tinfoil hats, but the science is there. I mean, when you're not even looking to relate them, and you see the data, the science on each one individually, and you see that they're the same, then you can't deny it. But if you don't want to see it, you're not going to see it. That's what we seem to be running into a lot with people. They've been bamboozled, and they don't want to admit or face that they've been bamboozled, so they carry on with the bamboozle. But that's not good. We need these people to wake up. But we got to do it nice, guys. We got to be nice to these people, because attacking them is just going to push them away farther and faster. It's definitely taking a lot of patience. Yeah, battery. A lot of practicing of patience on my part. I'm usually sarcastic snapback, but I've had to be very nice and use the Socratic method. If you don't know what that is, look it up. You want to find something that you know they'll agree on, that is related on a very, very basic, the most basic level of the topic you're going to discuss. and you want to ask them the question. Don't make it a leading question. Make it a very basic, what do you think about such and such? Or does this do this? Or you could say, you know, do we agree that the sun comes up and goes down each day? Or that the sun is a ball of fire, you know, something like that. And you'll, from there, you find the things that they'll agree with you on. And then you keep going a little deeper until you've kind of got them in there where they can't squirrel out and shut you down. So that's just a few tips. I always ramble and make these things so long. I hate it. I know you guys are probably like, oh my God, get to the good stuff. But I'll try to get better. And right now, my rides home are about the only time that I've got the oomph to do these videos. But I promise one day I'm going to get in my little room with my little green screen. I'm going to make it look all titsy-totsy and professional. Otherwise, I'm just sending you all this information off the cuff. Alright guys, see you next time.